Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Today marks us having more than 2 days of silence. Today marks us having less than 2 weeks of meaningful mornings for this semester. Today marks exactly 2 months until Vijayadashami. The original name for the Mahabharata was Jaya, with the implication being that if one follows through with the Mahabharata, that they will be Vijaya. They will not be winners in an external way, but rather will be victorious in an internal way. Today being important, a mark for our retreat, our mornings, our celebration. Are you following through? I'd shared that Puja Swami Chinmayananda is an icon of faith. Those who are faith-filled follow through. Chapter 9, verse 1. Idam tu te guhyatamam. In our Upanishad, there is a famous and powerful teaching. Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. Those in our Upanishad course, I have repeated this many times, which means the ones who know, what do they know? They know what is established in their heart. The royal secret is that your nature is divinity. Pravakshami anasuyave. Those who think big, they will resonate with this secret. Another way to understand and appreciate thinking big is to be large-hearted. By show of hands, how many of you would describe yourself as being large-hearted? Okay, not too many. Those who are large-hearted naturally engage in titiksha. Titiksha means endurance or to embrace. They don't complain as much. They don't criticize as much. They don't cry unnecessarily as much. Those who find weaknesses and strengths, they are the complainers. Jnanam vijnana sahitam. The secret, which is open to those who are open, I will share this intellectually and experientially, connecting chapter 8 and chapter 9. Chapter 8 is about doing. Doing is to lead us to knowing. And knowing is to lead us to being. Krama to jnana to vijnana. Finally, yat jnatva mokshase ashubhat. The one who experiences what I'm teaching, mokshase, they will be free. Free from what? Ashubhat. That which causes sinning, which means the sinner. Sri Ramakrishna shares a lovely insight into this teaching. He shares that many people are taught that if you go to the Ganga, that all of your sins will be washed away. And that is the truth. However, so imagine Vivek is going near the Ganga. Right before I put my toe into the Ganga, what happens? The sinner, that is the ego, jumps off of this body and waits on a tree. And all of those sins are washed off. But as soon as my toe hits the ground again, then my swarupa, my real personality that is egotistical, that is sinning oriented, comes back. So everything that I achieved, I have to do this all over again. But not the one who is being divinity. What an awesome verse. And the next is equally awesome. Verse 2. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Once again, Sri Krishna is describing his guidance as Raja Vidya, the knowledge that shines, Raja Guhyam, the truth that shines. In our Upanishad, there's a lovely teaching that shares Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. Many of you have chanted this, which means those who have distilled the Veda, those who know the experience of the Veda, what is the teaching? What is the experience? It's one of awareness. That when all else is negated, what cannot be negated? Awareness. Awareness is ever shining. What Pujya Swami Tejomayananda shared with us, he said, we don't need to know all of the secrets in the world. Yes, WikiLeaks, you don't need to know what has been shared through WikiLeaks. But we try, isn't it? We try to know everyone's secrets. At the end of the Ramayana, there's an awesome question that is asked. What is the greatest demerit or papa? Do you know what the answer is? Share with me in the chat. What is the greatest demerit or papa? Wrong action. Gossiping. Gossiping creates the most negativity. That's someone who's trying to know all the secrets. And what do they miss out on? Their own secret. That is who they are. Pavitram idam uttamam. This science that reveals this secret, pavitram, purifies. Idam, what he just described, uttamam, is most purifying. There's nothing we can do that is more purifying. Because think of this logically. What has made Vivek impure? What is the original impurity? Forgetfulness. That I think I'm Prince Arjuna and I've forgotten that I'm Sri Krishna. So what's the opposite of this? The opposite of forgetfulness is remembering. When I remember who I am Sri Krishna, then impurity can't touch me. In a very technical sense. I'd shared with all of you in chapter 3. In chapter 3, we shift from sakama karma to nishkama karma. which means in English, to evolve our lifestyle from selfishness to selflessness. What does selflessness do to our personality? Antakarana Shuddha. This makes our inner world pure. Everyone's together? What's next in the sequence? In the sequence of our evolution, what happens next? When one's inner world is purified, mind, memory, intellect, the most dominant part of our inner world is the ego. So what happens is ahankara tyaga. One drops the ego. What I'm trying to highlight is selflessness is great. Purity of equipments is great. But the greatest is dropping the ego. Pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam. This dharma that I'm sharing with you will lead one to pratyaksha avagamam, will lead one to experience. Not intellectualize, but experience. Connecting this to the previous chapter and really last or 2 years ago. In the summer of 2020, I taught aparoksha anubhuti. How many of you were in that course? Aparoksha anubhuti. Many of you. Paroksha means someone else's. So much of our experience is decided by someone else. Someone else's opinion, someone else's insight. Here Shri Krishna is sharing aparoksha anubhuti. This will be your experience, your insight. Chapter 8, krama. Krama means conditional freedom. Now he's sharing this third quarter. One will experience unconditional freedom. Put most simply, this third quarter is sharing, I am going to reveal to you, you. Who are you always with? You. I had shared yesterday, you're not always with your body. This morning when I was teaching contemplation at 6 a.m., many were exercising while I was teaching. They were going like this. They weren't their body. They had transcended even what I was teaching. They had released their body identification and mind and intellect. You're not even your intellect all the time. When you're asleep, you're not your intellect. To depend on that which is always with you, what is that? Divinity. This chapter is about you. Every chapter is, but especially this chapter. Susukam kartum avyayam. Susukam kartum means this is easy. How far are you from you? It's not spatial. How long are you from you? It's not based on time. And this creates avyayam, an experience that is forever, an experience that is not limited. Final reflection. Every one of us knows how to love. Share with me in the chat what you love. Be fast. What do you love? Instinctively, what comes to your mind? And here's where you all write meaningful mornings, okay? God, Bhagwan, and so on. As I was reflecting on this verse, I love being alone. And so much of my thought process is, how can I be alone? When I jog, I like to jog alone. When I contemplate, obviously I'm alone. I like to read, write, reflect alone, which is why I wake up early. See how I know how to love being alone. So there's so much of my lifestyle that revolves around that. We know how to love, but the direction of our love is limited. We love valuables. We love talking. We love food. Shri Krishna is trying to guide us to love ourselves. You know how to love. Change the direction of your love. From inspiration to application, your application yesterday was to rate how critical you are. I want to see your numbers. Please share in the chat. If you write nothing, that means 1. You are awfully critical. How critical are you? I see a 30 in there. 30 means more critical. I see a 75, which means less critical. Based on those who are sharing, I agree with what you're sharing. Here's my connection to this. The more critical you are, the less faithful you are. Those who are faith-filled, everything is all right. What is there to complain about or criticize about or cry about? But those who are faithless are critical full. Okay. Your application for this morning, as we're leading to the completion of this semester, I want to see a photograph of your notes. Many of you take notes in Meaningful Mornings. I want you to take a photograph of your book or some pages and email that to our team. I want to see a photograph of how you're recording Meaningful Mornings, Bhagavad Gita. And you can share on our website too, but I specifically want to see that. So website or email our team. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.